Today on Caliber 50 Customs, we're doing a special build today, the September giveaway build, and it's going to none other than Paul from Diecast Graveyard, one of the best builders I've seen. We are doing a 1964 Chevy Nova wagon. It's one of my favorite castings. This was a fun build. I really enjoyed doing this. And Paul, congratulations. So, let's head on down to the range. Hello everybody, welcome back to the range. Tom here. As I said before, this is the September giveaway build. I do it every month, so I think it's time to start field stripping and getting this sucker apart. As I said, I do this every month. Just random people I just pick. I've gone through Instagram and I've gone through my YouTube channel, and most of the people that have seen my YouTube channel are on my Instagram. So this was an interesting build because I was doing not one but two things. It was a two-part video. As you see here, I am also building a diorama stand for it out of one of the M2 cases I had, because it was a big enough case to do what I needed to do. I got the grass stuff from Hobby Lobby. I'm just kind of fitting it and making sure everything's fit. I got these wheels from another casting. I can't remember what I had, but they were green, and I couldn't find any green that actually matched what I was wanting to do, because I was trying to do this in the Diecast Graveyard's colors, but that didn't work out because I couldn't find a green close enough. So I just put my own little twist on it, and it ended up turning out beautiful, although I had to strip it down twice and paint it 3 times to get it just right. Everybody knows I do my own axles because I don't like really using axle tubes unless I have to. But, I don't always make my castings where they roll because they're more for display purposes. Most of my castings that I have done on video and I've kept, they stay in cases. They're not meant to be played with, they're just meant for looks. And what I'm doing here is I modified the rear part of the interior because I planned on putting something in the back. But, I made it enough room where if Paul decides to, he can take it apart and throw an extra piece in it. But I'm actually hand making a casket. I cut up a couple layers of styrene, glued them together, drew a little design on them, and I started cutting it with my jeweler saw, but it was just taking too long. So I ended up switching over to my snippers, that's what I call them, and just started trimming and then just sanded the rest down. It ended up turning out really good. I was actually really happy with the final result of this casket. I'm trying to smooth it out, get it ready for paint and primer and all that stuff. You got my little mini-me. I was using him for like a scaled size for this thing. But the way I had to do it is it wouldn't fit in the back of this casting unless I took out the wheel wells. So I had to cut the wheel wells out, as you'll see later on. And I had to put styrene in between, put some little, can't remember the putty I used, but put some filler putty in and smoothed it out. But you see here the casting. I ended up cutting up with some small rod styrene and made it handles for it pretty much. And I really enjoy making stuff, from scratch. Most of my castings, I do the exhaust from. It's just some styles that I do, or some styles that come already with the vehicle. I don't like the way the exhaust looks, so I like to put my own little touch on them. And I recently did a challenge build with another builder for the Phaeton. I can't remember actually how to pronounce it, but I ended up doing that, and mine turned out really good. I did a dragster version. It was a garnet red color. No, it was a custom red color with some gold like stripes on the sides, and I was really happy with the way it turned out. It took me a while to get it just right because I cut the front off of it and put some styrene to separate it. But I'll kind of throw some pictures up in the end here so people see what the build is. But unfortunately, I'm not gonna have a video for the Four Horsemen September build because all my footage for that build was corrupted, so I wasn't able to use any of it, and it really upset me because I worked my butt off trying to get that video to work and get it pieced together, and I did a lot of change up on it during the process of the build, but the colors I kept the same from the beginning. I picked 2 colors that I wanted to do for it. I custom made part of the base. I got 18-wheeler size tires on it, and wheels and tires. So, I had the front end. I cut the front off of the 35 Ford and just made it look like a rat rod, but it wasn't a rat rod. It was a clean build. It had a smooth paint job, it had a gloss paint job, and it had an awesome motor. And I'm also going to show pictures of that at the end of my video. And, as you see here, back to the actual build, I'm actually putting little pegs on the sides of the casket, the coffin, to hold the railing on. And, I trimmed them up to where, I wanted them, and then what I was going to do is I took my snippers, and actually trimmed them down further, and then put the side rails on them. Because it just looked so much better. They were too long, so I was like, I got to make them shorter. And that's what I did. After I got them glued on and they stayed there, I took my snips, and I just started taking off a little bit at a time to get it setting just right. But this was really an interesting build because I was trying to make it look a certain way, but it came out looking better than what I actually imagined. Most of the detail that I have is put into the diorama portion of the build. And Paul, I love Paul's work. And the thing is, I wanted to give something back, and I think that's why I do these giveaway builds. It is my way to give back to the diecast community, because all the videos I seen before I started my own channel, I would watch videos, and Mike's Mods and Customs just had a video of an unboxing. He showed his giveaway build. At the end of it, the 64 Corvette Grand Sport that I did for him. And like I told everybody, I don't expect anybody to send me anything. I do this because I want to, and I want to just, put my name out there. That's why I mention a lot of people I get inspiration from, like Flying Valiants. I get my diecast from Grizz, from Bearcat 3D Designs. I get some of my 3D parts from. I'm still waiting on in order. You know, I got inspiration from Diecast Graveyard, Kuda's Custom Diecast, Outlaw Speed Shop, Somo Diecast. There is so many great builders out there. I can't remember all of them. And I wish I could just name them all off, because I try to subscribe to every builder's channel that I can come up with.
If you like what you see, don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell for further notifications.
As you see here, I got the casting out of the stripper. It's just sitting over to the side. I'm building a tombstone out of styrene with a little cross on it. I found a skull from my Citadel Skulls little kit. And I'm just kind of measuring up how I'm going to set up the diorama. You know, here's the casket, you know. But as you see over to the top left there, you know, it's the interior where I sanded it down. I got putty on it where I was going to sand all that down after I got this done, you know, cleaning it up. And what I'm doing here is I'm building like a little chain link fence kind of that's going to go around the diorama. And, you know, I know it's just, it does not look bad. I wish I could have done better, but I didn't have the right materials I needed to do for exactly what I wanted to do. But it ended up turning out in the end. And here, you know, I got it set up. I got a little bit of a grave kind of built up. I just kind of put some super glue down and just built it up a little bit of sand stuff that I had out of a diorama kit. And, you know, I'm painting the skulls white because there's two that's sitting in there. A couple rocks, you know. I tried to make it to where it looked like a semi-part of a graveyard. And it looks great. I think it turned out fantastic. It looks good with the car. And, you know, what I'm doing is I'm using regular black hand paint, but I just kind of watered it down and made it look like a kind of like it was old, you know. I painted the tombstone like a primer gray, and then I just took the black paint, put some water together, mixed it up, made it look like a black wash. And I ended up doing something similar to the casket as well, but I had acrylic paint that I used, watered it down, and just kind of hand brushed it on there, and, you know, kind of tried to make it to where it looked like a wooden casket. And then what I did was, after that, is I did the black wash again over top of everything, let it dry, and I clear coated it with matte clear. And the end result of it, I was actually impressed by the way it looked. You know, I ended up putting my Caliber 50 Customs decals on the tombstones. I thought it was kind of funny. And, you know, it's on the casket. I thought it was kind of neat. But the thing is, you know, with Diecast Graveyard, and that's kind of where I went with the graveyard theme, you know, because of who it's going to. So pretty much the whole video is like, you know, the music, the beginning of it, and the theme that I was going for. And it ended up turning out better than I thought. You know, after I got done clear coating with matte clear with the decals on the tombstone and the casket, you know, I ended up putting a little bit of like soot, like something was burnt or it was old, and then I went over and clear coated it again. But y'all remember what we started out with. Beautiful casting as is. So why don't we fire it up and head on down and check her out.
Check it out.
and I'll see you next time at the range.